Welcome to Date Safe in the Philippines. I'm Mia, and today I'm sharing the 10 questions that every foreigner should ask before dating a Filipina. These aren't the questions you think you should ask. These are the questions that will actually save you from disaster. Because let me tell you something, I've watched so many foreigners show up here with hearts full of hope and wallets full of cash, and then leave with empty pockets and broken hearts because they didn't ask the right questions at the right time. And look, I get it. When you're excited about a beautiful Filipina who's sending you sweet messages every day, the last thing you want to do is start interrogating her. But these questions aren't about being suspicious. They're about being smart. And smart is sexy, trust me. Please subscribe first. I promise the advice I share here can save you from heartbreak, scams, and so much stress. Don't wait until you're already in trouble. Okay, let's get into it. Question number 1. Are you currently in a relationship? I know this sounds obvious, but you'd be shocked how many foreigners skip this question entirely. They meet a beautiful Filipina online. They start chatting. They fall in love with her sweet messages and cute selfies, and 6 months later they find out she has a boyfriend. Or worse, a husband. See, in the Philippines, the word single gets used very loosely. Single might mean she doesn't have a boyfriend right now, but it might also mean she's separated from her husband, which here means still legally married because we don't have divorce. Or it might mean her boyfriend is working overseas and she's bored. Or it might mean her last relationship ended 2 days ago and she's already looking for the next sponsor. So don't just ask if she's single. Ask if she's currently seeing anyone. Ask if she's been in a relationship recently. Ask if there's any guy who thinks he's her boyfriend. Because trust me, there's nothing worse than showing up in Manila thinking you're about to meet your future wife, only to discover that Ramon from the next barangay has been sleeping in her bed every weekend. That's not a love story. That's a disaster waiting to happen. Question number 2. What do you do for work? This question tells you so much more than just her job title. It tells you about her lifestyle, her ambitions, her schedule, and most importantly, her financial situation. If she says she works at a call center, that's actually a pretty decent job here. If she says she's a student, okay, but who's paying for it? If she says she's a freelancer and works from home, you might want to dig a little deeper, because freelancer can mean a lot of different things in the Philippines. Sometimes it means she does graphic design. Sometimes it means something very different. But here's the real reason to ask this question. You want to know if she's actually working or if she's just waiting for a foreigner to come save her. A Filipina who has a job and is working hard is someone who understands the value of money and effort. A Filipina who hasn't worked in 2 years and is chatting with 15 foreigners online, that's a red flag the size of a jeepney. You want a partner, not a project. Question number 3. Who do you live with? This question reveals everything about her family situation and her level of independence. Does she live with her parents, her siblings, her ex, her baby daddy, a random aunt who needs help paying rent? In the Philippines, it's completely normal for adults to live with family. We don't move out at 18, like in Western countries. But knowing who she lives with helps you understand her life and her obligations. If she lives with her parents, that usually means she's more traditional and her family is going to be very involved in your relationship. If she lives alone, that might mean she's more independent, but it also means someone is paying for that apartment, and you should probably find out who. If she lives with her ex-husband because they're separated but can't afford to live apart, well, that's a whole situation you need to know about before you book your flight. Question number 4. Do you have children? Please ask this question early. I can't tell you how many foreigners I've talked to who found out their Filipina had kids only after they arrived in the Philippines. Sometimes 2 kids, sometimes 3. Sometimes the kids live with the grandmother in the province, and she only mentioned it casually after you'd already been dating for months. Surprise, you're a stepdad now. Look, there's nothing wrong with dating a single mom. Filipinas who are single mothers can make amazing partners. They're often more mature, more responsible, and more appreciative of a good man. But you deserve to know what you're getting into. Kids mean responsibility. Kids mean expenses. Kids mean there's a father somewhere who might still be in the picture. And kids mean your relationship isn't just about the two of you. It's about building a family. Some guys want that. Some guys don't. But either way, you should know before you start sending money for her electric bill. Question number 5. What happened in your last relationship? This is a question most foreigners are too polite to ask, but it's one of the most important ones. How her last relationship ended tells you a lot about how your relationship might go. Did she leave him or did he leave her? Was there cheating involved? Did it end because of money problems? Did he stop sending support? Was there abuse? These details matter. Now, you're not going to get the full truth the first time you ask. That's okay. The point is to open the conversation and pay attention to how she answers. If she immediately blames everything on the guy, that's worth noting. If she takes zero responsibility for anything, that's a pattern. If she says every single ex-boyfriend was a bad person who treated her terribly, well, maybe she's the common denominator. But if she's honest and thoughtful about what went wrong and what she learned, that's actually a really good sign that she's mature enough for a real relationship. Question number 6. What are you looking for in a relationship? Don't assume you know what she wants just because she's Filipino. Some Filipinas want marriage and babies and a visa to your country. Some Filipinas want a casual relationship and financial support. Some Filipinas want a genuine connection with someone who will actually show up and be present. And some Filipinas just want attention and money transfers until you run out of both. Asking this question directly can save you months of confusion. If she says she wants to get married and have kids, and you're just looking for a vacation girlfriend, that's a mismatch. If she says she just wants to see where things go, and you're already planning your wedding in your head, that's also a mismatch. Get on the same page early, because there's nothing worse than investing a year of your life chatting with someone only to discover you were never heading to the same destination. That's called wasting time, and time is the one thing you can't get back. Question number 7. Have you dated foreigners before? This is a tricky one, because there's no perfect answer. If she's never dated a foreigner, she might have unrealistic expectations about how much money you have or how the relationship will work. She might think all foreigners are millionaires who can solve every problem with their magic ATM card. If she's dated many foreigners, you might wonder why none of those relationships worked out. What you're really looking for is honesty and self-awareness. A Filipina who's dated 1 or 2 foreigners and can tell you what she learned from those experiences. That's maturity. A Filipina who's on her 7th foreign boyfriend in 3 years and every single one was terrible. That's a pattern you should run away from. And a Filipina who pretends she's never talked to a foreigner before when you matched on a dating app specifically for foreigners? That's just lying, and lying is never a good foundation for anything. Question number 8. How often do you need help from your family? Notice I didn't ask if she sends money to her family. Of course she does. Almost every Filipino supports their family in some way. That's our culture, and it's actually one of the beautiful things about us. Family is everything here. But there's a difference between sending a reasonable amount to help your parents and being the ATM for every cousin, uncle, and neighbor who has a sob story. What you want to understand is the expectation. Is she helping her parents with basic needs like food and medicine? That's normal and actually admirable. Is she paying for her brother's motorcycle, her sister's college, her nephew's birthday party, and her aunt's sorry store that keeps failing? That's a lot. And if the expectation is that you will become the source of all that support the moment you become her boyfriend, you need to know that before you get too deep into the relationship. Because that support never ends. It only grows. Question number 9. What's your plan if this doesn't work out? I know this sounds pessimistic, but hear me out. A Filipina who has a plan for her life, regardless of whether you're in it or not, is someone who isn't just looking for a rescue. She has goals, she has dreams, she has something she's working toward. That's attractive, and more importantly, it's safe for you. But a Filipina whose entire plan is find a foreigner and get out of the Philippines? That's not a partner. That's someone looking for an escape route. And once she escapes, she might not need you anymore. Remember what I always say about solving problems too fast? If you solve all her problems too quickly, she has no reason to stay. But if she has her own ambitions and sees you as a partner rather than a solution to all her problems, that's a relationship that can actually last. That's a relationship worth building. Question number 10. Can I meet your family and friends? If she's serious about you, she should be willing to introduce you to the people in her life. Not on the first date, obviously, but eventually. If she keeps making excuses about why you can't meet her family or why her friends don't know about you, something is wrong. Either she's hiding you or she's hiding something from you. Neither is good. Meeting her family also gives you valuable information. You can see how they treat each other. You can see her home environment. You can see if the stories she's told you match up with reality. And honestly, Filipino families are usually very welcoming to foreigners. They'll feed you until you can't move and ask you 100 questions. If her family doesn't want to meet you at all, ask yourself why. Because that's not normal here. That's suspicious. Let me conclude by saying that asking these questions isn't about being suspicious or paranoid. It's about being smart. A good Filipina will appreciate that you're taking the relationship seriously. She'll be happy to answer honestly because she has nothing to hide. She'll actually respect you more for being careful. And if asking basic questions makes her defensive or angry, or she suddenly stops replying, well, that tells you everything you need to know. Remember, you're not just looking for a beautiful face and sweet messages. You're looking for someone who will be honest with you, respect you, and build a real life with you. And the only way to find that person is to ask the right questions before you get too deep. What questions would you add to this list? Let me know in the comments below. And if this video was helpful, please hit the like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it, because the more prepared you are, the better your chances of actually finding real love here in the Philippines. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe out there.